Mic should be working. Yeah, we good. Oh, make sure this is muted. All right, what's up, everyone? Let's make sure this is live. Here we go. All right, Thunder obviously lose game three. We can talk about that for a long time right now, but there's a lot of questions on what exactly happened, exactly like why they lost that game. What they should have changed. Certain players played certain minutes. Chet played, I believe, what 34 minutes, but he had a horrible fourth quarter. Shea had one of his weirdest games. Hardenstein played 18 minutes. Like, there's so many like weird factors that happened in that game. So I'm just gonna like try to like deep dive into it. Just try to go back and try to understand what exactly happened. And I think the number one thing I noticed, I could look back right now. We can go back to what I said earlier today, and I'll probably have some video proof about it, talking about it also. But like the number one takeaway from this game was 100% that Hardenstein did not play enough minutes because how are the Thunder supposed to counter ball pressure? How are the Thunder supposed to counter against a team that's trying to aggressively like take the ball away from Shea if you don't have either a ball handler on the floor or you don't have a proper screener on the floor? Right now, all you're doing is just having Shea lead the ball up and have no one else to relieve pressure off of him. Like, that's not gonna work long term. That's not gonna work in the series. Nembhard's been too good. Ben Shepherd's been too good. Like, you've got to find ways to to get this team going. So I think the number one thing is like play Hardenstein more, play your best players more. That's the number one thing. But like if that means you have to play Chet less because you're not comfortable playing double big, so be it. Like, really, Shea and you can argue who's better between J-Dub or Chet, but the thing is like the Hardenstein versus Chet lineups at the five have not been that different this year, right? Chet at the five, they obviously had some really good stretches all year. I mean, the last 2 years, right? Chet at the five is like their best lineup. No one's denying that. But Hardenstein at the five literally also led a team that went um 43-4 or something like that when Chet was out. Like that, you can go Hardenstein at the five. Not starting him obviously. I'm saying like running for long stretches. Like trust in Hardenstein being able to like work with Shea. Like we've seen enough of Hardenstein being able to be a high end player next to Shea. So like just trust in that. We're gonna bounce back. Mark has to be better with rotations. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, like the issue is like the rotations are kind of hard to like. It's not that easy to like explain right now, right? Like you can look at the rotation chart right here. J-Dub played. I mean, Dort played 35 minutes. J-Dub played 36. Like it's pretty hard to explain what exactly happened. I mean, I think the biggest issue right here again is like the fact that you're not able to play Wiggins and Joe that many minutes. I think that's the biggest issue with the team right now. Um, you're gonna have to find ways to get more of an offensive slanted team, more of like an offensive like more offense on the floor really. If you're gonna try to beat Indiana, because like right now they're not slowing down Indiana's offense enough, and they haven't done so outside of game two. Game one, second half, Indiana offense completely destroyed them. Today, Indiana's offense didn't even have good shooting, and they still scored really well. So maybe you have to go and try to trust like that guys like Joe and Wiggins can actually like play on the floor defensively for some stretches because right now I don't know exactly how you're gonna win the series right now. If if you're being forced to play defensive slant lineups and then Indiana's completely figured you out. I think the biggest question I think someone asked, I could look back right, oops, was was will AJ Mitchell? Do you think there's a world where AJ Mitchell plays in this series because they're so desperate for a third ball handler? And I think the fact that we're even asking this question speaks to like the flaws of this roster, like the few flaws of this roster. Right, this roster is really good. Won nearly 70 games, like that's pretty obvious thing to say. But the fact that we're like considering playing like a rookie, playing a guy who like played 20 games actual minutes because this team is so bad in terms of like having true ball handlers, that's a big issue going forward. Like beyond the series, the Thunder could escape the series. No matter what, we're gonna have to you're gonna have to add another ball handler to the team. Maybe be like a Colin Sexton, maybe be like a Kobe White, one of those type of players. You need more dynamic ball handlers. Like right now, they don't even trust J-Dub to handle the ball because he has such a loose handle. They don't trust J-Dub to bring the ball. The only players they're trusting to bring the ball up the floor are Shea, and when Shea gets the ball, obviously, he's getting tired. So that's the downside of having Shea on the ball. He's gonna get tired really quickly. And on the other side, you have like guys like Cruz or Wiggins. Like those are the only three guys that they really trust bringing the ball up. Wiggins is one of them. Wiggins is not even Mark is not even comfortable playing Wiggins right now. So we bounce back game 4. Um, we definitely we definitely should just be based off like how like Mark's playoff history has gone, how his entire team's core's playoff history has gone. But like that was a game where Indiana just straight up outplayed you. Coop plays like Indiana straight up just outplayed you for a full 48 minutes almost, and there was nothing like that really went their way. Like in particular, like they didn't have a good 3-point shooting night. They had like a very average 3-point shooting game. They shot 9 of 27 from free, right? The one thing that they did do well that was limit the Thunder's 3-point attempts. Like that Thunder offense last night, I'm actually honestly a bit surprised they even scored 107 points. Looking back on it and looking at their process, like almost every single possession was they're dribbling the ball out. They didn't score in transition well. Um, like they really just couldn't get the ball. They just couldn't do anything with the ball early in the offense. Like because no, they couldn't do anything in early offense because they can never force early offense. I think that's a better way to say it. Like if Indiana's slowing you down all game, if they're pressuring the ball the entire game, everything the Thunder do is in like the final few seconds of the shot clock. You understand? Like everything's gonna happen in the last 7 or 8 seconds. Like it's not gonna be easy to score right now. The way I see it, Thunder and 7, the way it's going, yeah, that's probably like I mean that's obviously like near best case right now. But how confident you are you in tomorrow's game? Like probably like a 7 out of 8. But man, like those that's one of the few games in this entire playoffs. I have to say like maybe third or fourth game where the Thunder got completely outplayed with like no other external factor. There was a Minnesota game 3. There was I think it was game 6 versus Denver. They completely got outplayed. Other than that, it's all been 50-50. That even though the score was pretty close, it was mainly because like Dort was shooting insane from free. Um, I thought the Thunder got way better, got a lot of free throws that game. They they got an outlier amount of free throws compared to what they do all year, right? This is not a ref thing. This is more of like the Thunder usually aren't a team that draw a lot of free throws, especially guys like Jadam and Chet, right? They're not guys that usually get near double digit free throws every single game. That's what really kept them close in the game. But overall, from the field, they weren't doing anything well. Like Indiana was shooting better from the floor, from the court all game. It Lakers fan here, rooting for Indiana, but I don't know who would win. Who could win? Yeah, it almost feels 50-50 still, just because like what we know about the Thunder, but like I mean, all is on the table game 4. Pacers head coach ran laps. Yeah, Rick is insane. And that's power hoops. This is the thing. I was talking about this with someone else, right? The main issue right now is that when you're playing against such an elite coach like Rick, you're gonna go in these back and forth series where they make an adjustment, you make an adjustment, back and forth, right? Game 2, um, game 2, the Thunder amped the ball pressure on Halliburton and everyone. They completely made them uncomfortable. This game, they counter. Indiana counters with a lot more actions, a lot more screens. Gets earlier in the offense. The issue is like now you're in a back and forth series, and now, but game one was a one game where no team has the upper hand in terms of adjustments, right? That's a true toss up game. Game 1 goes no one's way in particular because like there's no adjustments to be made. The fact that you lost a 50-50 game, where the fact that you lost a 50-50 game means you're always going to be behind in the series until obviously you get back to back like 2 straight games of good execution, which is really tough to do. It's a really good team, so it's really that game 1 setting you behind, man. What's up, Scott? Need double big lineup. Stop messing. Need double big lineup. Stop messing around. Yeah, the double big lineups have not been bad at all. They were a +9. They were a +9 in their minutes. Um, the last few games. I don't, and they've only played 2 games to be fair. They didn't even play in game 1. I think Marcus is going way too far with it. At this point, you've got to. you've got to at least trust. You got to trust that lineup. Like clearly, single big with Chet's not working. I think that's the biggest thing to take away. That Chet the five is simply not doing enough. Um, Either that means you play Hartenstein at the five more. Either that means you play double big more. I don't know, but Chet at the five offensively. It's mainly offensively. Defense, I trust Chet to figure it out defensively. I think offensively is a big issue because Chet right now he's playing a really dumb series, man. He's not. I don't think his like on court processing is ready for like what he's asked to do when he's playing at the five. He has to do like a lot of decisions off pick and rolls. He has to obviously take a bigger role as a scorer. Like he's not ready for that, and I think that's why you want to play Hartenstein at the five a lot more. I think the minutes with Hartenstein have just looked a lot better this season. He's just been much better with the screening. He's been a much more reliable rebounder. I think the screening is the number one thing, right? When Hartenstein screens for Shea, he's gonna get like a good lane almost every single time. So yeah, I'll just play Hartenstein like nearly 30 minutes. At least try to in game four. Sean, I think Hartenstein is a non-factor because they made him a non-factor. I will agree though. I will agree, Sean. That the one thing though is that I'm talking about Hartenstein screening and rebounding. I think that no matter what stays the same. That stays the same no matter what. The issue with Hartenstein is that his offensive value in the playoffs is so easy to take out in terms of like his floater, his scoring in general, right? Any scoring he has, because he only has like one really designated shot. He has that one floater, and team scheme that out really easily. They just swipe down on the ball, they just speed up to Hartenstein and make him uncomfortable. He really has no counter to that. He's like one of like the few players in the NBA who really just rely on one shot. So obviously like his production is gonna fall off in the playoffs as a scorer. I feel like since like the first round, he hasn't had like a good scoring game outside of offensive like rebounds and stuff. Like when he gets tip-ins and stuff like that. Will we see a Warriors 2022 type bounce back? That's the dream, obviously, and I think that's a good reference point. The series have gone very similar so far, but I mean, Steph went for 43 in Game 4. That's you really need Shea to shake out of this, shake out of what he just finished in Game 3. Game 3 for Shea, I think it was worse than Stella. And honestly, like he just slowed down the entire game. He couldn't get much shots off. Indiana took away his 3-point shot also. Like sometimes in bad games, like games where Shea doesn't really, um, get to the rim well, he can still rely on that step back three. They took away his step back three too. They took away everything. So yeah, you're gonna need like a big game for response from Shea, similar to Steph. Like that's how Golden State won that series. Steph from Game 4 to Game 6 was insane. He was completely on another level. Like I think he averaged like 32, 33 points to finish that series. You're gonna need the same from Shea, like where he just flips the switch. He was good for the first two games, especially Game 2. Game 2 was like his really good game from Shea, but you're gonna need like a really good close to the series from him. Also, how do I feel about Joe? Yes, he was being attacked, but let him. Yeah, power foops. Like that's the thing. It's really a dilemma, right? That um, do you want to sacrifice some defense, or do you want to literally just like give up on your offense? Because it is so insane to me that Isaiah Joe hit two 3-point shots in 4 minutes. All the shots that he took, and he was still taken out just because of how bad he was defensively. Like at some point, like we can put some accountability on Joe, right? Joe, you need to be better defensively. That is 100% true. But also, is there not accountability on Mark to find a way to make Joe playable defensively? Like Joe has not been a good defender this playoffs. He has not been. I agree. At the same time, Indiana's playing Obi Toppin. Indiana's playing Ben Mathurin. Indiana's playing TJ McConnell. Indiana's playing Tyrese Halliburton. None of those guys are particularly good defenders. At best, they're average for some of them, right? So if Mark cannot find a way to like play a defensive scheme that doesn't rely on all five defenders like being great defensively, he needs to be able to change from that because like you're not gonna be able to score if you just keep on running these Case and Caruso door lineups with no offense on the floor. How can Mark hide bad defensive players like the Pacers? Um, really, really, you just have to like trust your guys, trust your initial guys more one on one. Like you gotta like I think they're so focused on trying to scram switch, trying to like shrink the floor at times. Like sometimes you gotta like just just force the team to play slower, force the team to play isolation. Maybe Maybe you let Halliburton get a few switches on the bigs and see what he can do against that. We saw Halliburton switch against Chet a few times in game two in transition. He didn't get anything off. So why are the Thunder so scared to switch Chet onto Halliburton a few times a game to maybe take away that initial like Turner roll to the basket? Like Mark's just gotta like change some stuff up a bit. Stop making it so easy. I feel like Mark is gonna be at fibs at this point and stop going deep, play seven deep only. Yeah, he could do that, but like he could do that, but at the same time, like it's so hard. It's so hard to like win these games if you don't get anything outside of on your from your bench offensively, and obviously Hartenstein is not giving you that right now, and Crusoe's a limited offensive player. So like, how do you feel about putting a smaller player on Turner so switching is better? That's another option, Marcus. Like if you don't want to play, if you don't want to play double big, then put J Dub, maybe put J Dub on Turner, and then put Chet onto Siakam. I think Siakam could do some things against Chet. I also think Chet would be fine enough. If Siakam just ends up, beating the Thunder in isolation on Chet Holmgren, then he beats them, Like if Siakam goes for 35 points on good efficiency against Chet, fine. But you have to find a way to take away the pick and roll. That's literally the entire Indiana offense, right? The screening game and everything. Halliburton and Turner. You have to find a way to take away that first. Like I could care less if Siakam just fries you for a bunch of mid-range shots. And I think that's something that Mark needs to get better at. Like I think he sometimes over hyper focuses on the star players, like Siakam for example. Like sometimes you gotta let them slow the game down, let them handle the ball, just find a way to like sure they're gonna score in some possessions, but like just slow the game down. Don't let Indiana feel comfortable. That's what Dallas did against the Thunder last year, right? They let Shea and Jada play a slow type of game, and yes, Shea scored really well in that series, but the Thunder's offense as a whole wasn't that good. Try to do the same against Indiana, like force Halliburton and Siakam to uh score against a pretty good defensive team by themselves on an island. I feel like we were too small. We're too small all over. Give up too many rebounds and putbacks. The fact that the Thunder are not dominating the possession battle against a really bad rebounding team is really a bad sign. Like Indiana's one of the worst rebounding teams. Turner is one of the worst rebounding bigs. So yeah, the fact that you're limiting Hartenstein's minutes this much is already like kind of crazy to me. After we saw how solid he did on the boards in game two and game one when he played, but yeah, the fact you're not able to like take advantage of a pretty bad rebounding team is totally inexcusable. There was a bad play where Shea was on Turner on the mid post and Shea switched in mid action. Kill hoops. Wait, was that kill? Is that kill hoops? Yeah, my bad. Okay, kill hoops. Like exactly that, right? What you should they're sometimes so scared of switching at times that they don't realize they're making mistakes and increasing the margin for error. They're so they're so hyper focused on they're so hyper focused on just getting the switch, like not losing a guy that they make so many other mistakes. I would literally just try to switch a lot more in game four. That's literally my number one thing. You know? Like the only player that the Thunder are willing like the only time the Thunder are willing to switch is like off ball screens. And that's where the Pacers are catching Shea every single time. Like they'll send a back screen, so Shea will get on Siakam most of the time. That's where like the only damage really happens. Outside of that, the Thunder aren't switching anything. It's crazy that Indiana didn't even shoot that good from free that game. We gotta be ready for that. That's the annoying part, man. This is a game where this is like a perfectly below average Indiana game in terms of shot making, and you weren't able to take advantage of that. That's that's really annoying. I honestly think if Shea has a game like game one or game two, we win those minutes. Would have won. Charlie in those last few minutes. Yeah, Shea. Most of this starts with Shea, right? Most of this game starts with Shea, and any game where Shea just doesn't feel comfortable, any game where Shea can barely get the ball across the floor, is obviously it's obviously going to be like a very hard way to win. You're going to have a lot of uh, different things going for you, which obviously didn't happen. But like, still, no matter what, Shea or not, the Pacers had a really good offensive game. No matter what, um, I think the rotation is going to be better. Like, I trusted Shea to be better. I don't know if I trust the rest of the stuff to be better with the way it's going. So that's why I'm focusing more on that. Um, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, like this is also just a long term thing. Like if you can ice out Shea in games like this where he's not even able to get the ball past the floor half the time. He's not even able to touch the ball because of how much pressure they're putting on him. It's a roster construction issue as much as it is as a Shea issue. You know, like yes, it's Shea's issue for not being able to find a way to fight off the ball offensively. Have a lot of stamina. I think that's a weakness of Shea at this point. He doesn't have a good stamina. He gets fatigued really easily. That's why he can't really play over 40 minutes a game as much as we want him to. But it's also an issue that we don't have any guy to relieve pressure off of him. There's no second ball handler truly, right? Right? J Dub's more of a wing. The only ball handler on this team is AJ. So like, and I don't think you can play AJ, right? I don't know if anyone's gonna ask me now, but you can't play AJ. He just he just hasn't played this year. Maybe if he didn't get injured, maybe you could play AJ in this moment. But right now you can't. Seems like we can't win gritty battles, and that's in the championship DNA. Yeah, they've been bad in clutch games. They've been bad in clutch games. They had a few against Denver. They had that one against Denver, right? Game four and game five against Denver, and then game four against Minnesota. But they've been bad in the first two clutch games in Indiana. They were bad in I want to say 3 out of 5 clutch games against Denver. Horrible in the clutch against Dallas. Like they just haven't been good at closing games at all. Do you think the starting lineup needs a change? At this point, I don't even know how much impact it makes. I think the issue is like that. I think no matter what, Mark is gonna play Kaysen a lot anyways. And this is not really me trying to slander Kaysen. I think Kaysen wasn't even that bad yesterday, but he's clearly not good enough yet to really get that starting job to really play that many minutes. You know, but if Mark is good, if Mark's mind says that we're gonna win this game defensively, not offensively, then Kaysen's gonna get minutes no matter what because he's not gonna give it to Wiggins or Joe. You know, I would personally either start Caruso, right? Just start Caruso. Yeah, like Mel said, just start Caruso. He's clearly the better player. He's clearly one of the best players on this team. Start Caruso and just play him 35, 36 minutes. You know, play him the same amount that you're playing J-Dub and Dort. You know, I know it's like a small thing, but like, you gotta just shrink the rotation slowly and slowly. So start Caruso, and if not, if you really want Caruso off the bench for some particular reason, I would I would maybe even try to go curveball and like put Wiggins in, right? And just try to see like end of the day, it's Shea, Dort, J-Dub, Wiggins, Chet, starting five should not be that bad defensively. It should honestly still be great, right? I know it won't be as elite, but like you should still be able to generate a solid amount of turnovers and still be able to hold your own defensively. That's probably still the best defensive team that Indiana has faced to this point. So like if the Thunder truly need to have like 4 or 5 elite defenders on the floor to have like that good to great defense in this series, then they're done. There's nothing they can do about that. You know, there's nothing they can do about that. Kaysen hasn't been that good defensively, in my opinion. I agree. I agree. This hasn't been the greatest Kaysen series defensively. In fact, I do think this has been a much better Dort series defensively, in contrast to last series and the series before that. Um, I feel like he's just trailing the screens a lot of times. He's not making much of an impact off the ball. Like how many turnovers did we force last game? I feel it was like 12 or 13, right? 13 turnovers, and most of them were like they weren't even live ball turnovers. We're not forcing the ball. I mean, we're not forcing turnovers where we can get out in transition. Like it's just a bunch of dead ball turnovers and stuff like that. Like that is really bad. If you're playing this many defensive playmakers and not able to like get out and run at all. Why do the Pacers feel so much? Um, why do the Pacers really feel like they're so much worse than Denver, but it feels like we can't beat them, or is it just me? I will say there's a lot of similarities between Denver and how the Denver and Indiana series has gone so far. Denver game one, Indiana game one. Thunder control most of the game. They both come back in the final minutes, game winner. Game two, Thunder make a big adjustment. They're able to really control the game fully. Shea has a historic game. Game three, Shea looks awful in the fourth quarter. Thunder still stick around pretty tight. Yeah, it almost felt like Denver and Indiana have control the entire time. It's very similar how the series have gone so far. I don't think they're much worse than Denver. I think that's just like the bias to like the highest end stars. They have Jokic, one of the best in the world, number one or number two. They have Halliburton, who's not like considered top 10 by most. So like that's really like the main difference. I don't think Denver is better than Indiana at all at this point. I feel like doubling is gonna work this series. Yeah, yeah, Marco. It's like that's exactly the point. Like um you have to just live with Siakam doing whatever, man. Like you cannot be aggressive against a smart team. That's straight up it. You cannot be aggressive against a team that's led by Halliburton, Nemhard, and McCollum. They're all really good decision makers. Like if Siakam beats you 1-on-1, man, like he beats you 1-on-1. I've watched Siakam for years. He's a very good player. Obviously an all star, right? He's still like his efficiency is still pretty relatively like mediocre. Meaning like yes he will be able to score. Yes he's still a pretty elite scorer. He's not a game breaking scorer. He's not gonna completely swing a game with his scoring. So just let them play 1-on-1. Let them do whatever. Like don't stay overly aggressive for no reason. That's the only way Indiana's gonna flow. They're prepared for you to play over aggressive. Do you honestly feel like we're gonna win? I'm looking for any sliver of hope at this point. Yeah, I have 107 right now, but I would say Indiana definitely has the upper hand right now. I think saying 50-50 or what I think the odds are insane right now. I think the odds have the Thunder as like 70% favorites. I just don't believe that right now. I just don't think we've seen anything in the series that suggests the Thunder are much better and they're going to be able to win 3 out of 4 games more than likely than not. But the I guess like the one cope again, right, is that how good the Thunder have been in later in the series so far this playoffs, like literally every single round, and how good Shea has been after Game 3. Like Game 3 is really like obviously like his. I feel like the first 2 games are like a test out period, like a feel out period for Shea. I think LeBron has the same moments, right? Where LeBron and Steph, they both kind of struggle early in the series, and then they finally put some masterpieces to finish it off. I think that's like the one thing that gives you a lot of hope right now that um like the Thunder can eventually take the advantage back in the series. Hey, good luck, man. I'll see you, man. Neesmith is crazy. He's unscreenable. Gotta give him props, dude. Neesmith is one of the craziest defenders, one of the craziest perimeter guys I've seen in a while. I don't understand why he doesn't get enough credit. I guess like he's not like getting like a lot of steals or blocks. I guess, but he's almost like a bigger Dort, almost like Marcos. It's insane. You just can't screen him. You can't take him on a play, no matter what. Um, he's gonna eat through it every single time. Like J Dub cannot create separation. I thought J Dub had a pretty fine game. Ups and downs. He had a really good second half where like he kept them in the game. He was like the only one really scoring consistently. But like as a whole in the series, Neesmith is just gives so much issues to whoever he's on, and same with Neymar. Neymar's the same thing. Like he's so good at going for screens. I think Neymar's a little worse. I think Neesmith's like on his own tier, but like Indiana has a good formula, man. Indiana has a good formula. You limit transition offense, you limit how much space they can create on screens, and then you obviously have your offensive package. Like that's a good formula to win games, man. They need to stop attempting screens with Chet, not effective at all. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Chet screens have been bad this series. Chet on offense has been just bad in the series in general because at this point, every single time, it's just like him making a decision in the middle of the floor, him just bringing the defender to Shea. It almost feels like he doesn't even know where to go, where to roll at some points, right? Chet will just like come to the ball and either like stay in Shea's way or either just roll into a place where there's no space. Like he doesn't have good. I feel like some people underrate like certain skills that players have. Like for example, like how well they're able to read the screen, how well they're able to like roll and pick and pop and how when to decide. Chet's really bad at that at this point. Like his entire offensive game is just really raw. He just hasn't played enough um at this point in his career to like. I was watching the video and you said something about Chet's 3 point shot. What do you think the problem is with his shot? Um, problem is he just relies too much on his legs. That's really the point. That's really the main issue. He relies too much uh, on like getting a good base and stuff. Like that's why a lot of his shots come off flat. Like almost all of his shots will come off flat or short. He doesn't really get much arc. It's almost like a line drive most of the time, and especially late in games where he becomes fatigued, it feels like he's more suspect. Oh my god, he can more than likely have those bad misses like he did against Indiana. It's also just such a slow release. He brings the ball like um, all the way down below his hip. So it's like very easy like for the defender to like get the ball up or like to be able to recover. And even though he relies a lot on his legs, he doesn't get a lot of lift. Like it's a lot of combination of factors. Like he just doesn't have a good jumper. And if I'm Chet, um, I'm personally like changing my entire jumper like pretty soon because right now like the best thing you can do with the jumper is like just shoot a few spot up threes a game. There's nothing more you can do. It's gonna be hard to shoot mid range shots. It's gonna be hard to shoot any form of contested shots. He has good shooting touch. That's really what's letting Chet even hit any shots. He has a good shooting touch. His form is just messed up as a whole. Um, it's way too slow to actually like work throughout a series. I think that's the reason why Chet's been a bad playoff shooter too. Like I think teams get used to like, and teams like understand how to take away a shot a lot better throughout the series. Our offense is way too predictable. Yeah, I think us winning is gonna come down to having creative offense and getting our bench rolling. Shea needs to be an all-ball playmaker rather than just playing off the ball and staying in the corner. I agree, a Boogie, but like the issue is like they're not even able to get the Shea the ball at times. That's the main issue, you know. It starts with that. We have to go for the steps, you know. First, you just have to find a way to let Shea play on the ball without like just tiring him out. Like Shea will literally like not be able to play the fourth quarter if he's just gonna have to bring the ball up against that pressure every single play. So that's the biggest thing. But yeah, he definitely needs to look to play make first, with how Indiana is playing him. I'm trying to see how the post offense can work. The post offense was really bad this game. I still think it can be a factor in this series. Indiana's like hard doubling every single time. So like either Shea gets a one-on-one shot in the post or he gets like a kick out for an open shooter if they're doubling. So like I think that's still a pretty that's an option you can trust this series no matter what. But our best offense from the bench are two of our worst defenders and Wiggins and Joe. That's the big issue right now. That's the big issue. And you can argue like our free. Never mind. I was about to say something, but no. Yeah, that's the biggest issue though. Like that, I didn't expect Joe to be this bad defensively in the playoffs because I think in the regular season he was pretty fine. He was actually a positive according to most like metrics and stats. Wiggins was pretty bad, but like the fact that they're not even playable defensively in both this series and Denver now is. You're gonna have to make changes if you don't believe they can play half your playoff series deep in the playoffs. There's no reason for them to be on the roster. Even I'm not saying they should trade him, but like if you're Mark, right, there's no reason why if you don't have any trust in them, you should still like continue the same with Kenrich last year. You know, if you didn't trust Kenrich against Dallas to play small ball, I don't understand why he was on the team next year. We lost that game when Caruso threw the ball straight to T.J. McConnell. Yeah, that is the inbound stuff was awful, man. I think 3 or 4 turnovers just off inbounds. And that's a 6 points swing right there. Who knows where that game goes with just a normal inbounding game. The fact that Kaysen made that mistake twice is just absurd, absurd. Like exact same mistake twice is. And like TJ was right in front of him, like the second time. First time, like I guess he was just running. You don't really expect like McConnell to have that motor there, but like second time was ridiculous. And the Crucial one, he's just right in front of him. He's not even trying to find an angle. He just rushes the pass and bounds. Like stupid stuff, man. One thing for sure, Shea's 4-0 in game fours, and we haven't lost back to back in forever. And Halliburton's 5-0 in game four. It's kind of funny. Like it's the opposite of game three. Both Oklahoma and Indiana sucked in game threes. Now like Thunder and Indiana are like perfect in game four. So like, yeah, I'm excited. I always do think the team that made the adjustment last, so Indiana is the one that made the winning adjustment last in game three. Always has a lower hand going to the next game, just naturally. Like let alone like any other factor. So like I do think that works well in the Thunder's favor. But they're gonna have to figure something out to just like get Shea some more space, and they've done a really good job of that, right? I don't know if you guys remember how drastic the difference between Game 3 versus Minnesota and Game 4 was. Game 3, Shea shot 13 shots in like 28 minutes, and it felt like every single shot was. Wait, I thought we were deep. They got players like TJ and Ben killing. Yeah, Shea shooting is most effective after defense is out of position. Ball's kicked to him usually after Shea and making the breakdown. Yeah, he's really just a wide open spot of 3 point shooter. That's I mean like that's fine. That's not bad for that's not a bad that's not bad for a big. But like long term, I know Chet can be better than that. Chet was a better shooter than that in high school. He changed his shot in Gonzaga to prioritize efficiency. Same thing in the NBA. Kept that because like it's a more efficient shot. Like when you get an open shot, but like it sucks in terms of like getting a lot of shots up. I can't blame Case 100% for that. Guys need to come back. Not 100%, yes, but like the second one, I kind of do blame him for. The first one, I guess not. Great mark as a coach so far in the playoffs as a whole, like a cool B. Um, this series has got to be like a C minus, maybe D plus. I mean, it was a really small sample. I thought game one, game one's a weird game. I don't judge it much, but like the end game management was awful. Like going small to end game one was like just didn't make any sense. You just hit it in the end of the game. Um, Game two was a great game, and then game three, like he completely got out coached. So crazy how Dort's been has been crazy how Dort has been good for free. Yeah, I mean, he started the game 4 for 4. He's shooting like this is honestly Dort's best playoff series of his career. As crazy as it sounds, like it probably is. Maybe the Pelicans round one. Like he's been shooting well. He's been pressuring the ball defensively well. It just doesn't really matter right now. He's also added like a lot of extra possessions in terms of, like I think he's probably even one of the best Thunder players on the boards, and they're not able to like do anything with that. One key point no one mentions the missed free throws last game. What was that? Well, it was mainly J Dub, was it not? Like yeah, 4 missed free throws from J Dub, 7 as a whole. Yeah, J Dub shooting touch is just having such a weird playoffs right now. It's really hard to understand J Dub. Um, but yeah, they left a lot of points on the table. Like this was one of their best foul drawing games all playoffs. And contrary to like the popular belief, it wasn't because of Shea. Like Jadam and Chet got to the line a lot, both in this game, same game, for like, probably the first time all playoffs, and you know, obviously it didn't matter enough. We can't play small ball with this lineup against Indy. We need a bigger power forward. I was thinking about that earlier. I don't 100% agree with you. Like I don't 100% believe we need a bigger power forward. But like, is this a series where like you just play Kevich more at the 4, and you know try to play maybe like Chet and Hartson at the 5 next to them? Like I think they did it for a few minutes. They played for like 1 minute today, right? Kevich played like 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes 4 seconds. Like is this a game where I mean is this a series where you try to look a lot more? And then like maybe like a Kevich and Hartenstein lineup or a Kevich and Chet lineup completely just like dominates the board defensively, and you still get to play fast, right? Because you're only playing one big. Like maybe that's the move. You still get shooting, you still get switchability. Mark's stacking philosophy isn't really translating to the playoffs, 100%. Any idea why we aren't running double big? I think Mark is just stubborn to like change his pre series belief. I think game one he had in his head that we're not gonna run double big at all. We're gonna keep. We're gonna. I guess not gonna play Harness that much this series at all. He's just gonna be like a backup big basically, and he hasn't really wavered from that. I think that's the main issue right here. He, he's like refusing to like go away from the stance. Like he played it a little bit in game two, but like he kind of had to try it right after the loss. He tried it a little today, but like he's so scared. I think he's so scared of like Turner shooting that they can't even play both of them on the same on the floor at the same time when Miles Turner's in the game. So what easy money sniper? You kind of just put an idea in my mind. What if like the move is like putting Hardenstein on Siakam because Hardenstein's guarded Siakam in the past pretty fine, and I think Siakam will be forced to shoot a lot of jumpers against him. You put Hardenstein Siakam, and then you put J Dub on Turner. You can switch everything, and you still get a pretty good on ball body for Siakam. You can do the same with Chet, but I feel like Hardenstein's even more impactful because like he's actually like proven he can guard Siakam pretty well, and like just power forwards in general, right? Like Jaren Jackson, he he guarded Gordon well when he was on him. He guarded Randall really well when he was on him. He guarded Giannis really well in the regular season. Like maybe that's just a move. I mean, how much bigger is Kenny Hustle than J Dub? Not much. I mean, I think it's a decent bit. It's a decent bit. Like I think he just plays bigger. I think that's a big part of it. Like his rebounding rate's a lot better compared to the others. Turnovers cost him. I love Casey, but so far this defense isn't making up for the offense. Mark need to start Caruso instead. Yeah, 100%. It's so weird seeing Casey just have like a like really no impact defensively for a full series. It just feels weird. Like this is probably like the first series that's happened since since his career. Maybe Dallas. Like Dallas, he got Kyrie pretty well. I can't lie. So their offense is set that they're most effective with the double big lineup. 100%. Yeah, the double big lineup just expands your offensive boundaries a lot more. It expands Shea's boundaries a lot more. Like I think you can run to a high ball screen still with Hardenstein. You still get the at the rim dunker spot spacing from Shea. You get the spot up shooting. I feel like double big is just perfect to really go off of it offensively. And then like we're talking about right now, there is ways to manage it defensively. There is ways if you just um finally comply to switching. If you're just scared of switching, it's nothing's ever gonna change. But if you lean into switching a little more in defense, I think you can have a good defensive game plan too. Harden's the best screener you have. I'm shocked that Harden isn't shooting the floor. He's shocked from. So if we run double big, Harden, Siakam, Jalen on Turner, and then Shen on who? Well, I don't necessarily think double big is gonna overlap with Jada, but at the same time, if it was, um, if it, Marco's like you can honestly like just keep Chet on Turner. Like you can honestly just keep Chet on Turner. So you still switch everything and put like J Dub on like a Nemhard or something like that. You know, Nemhard on one of the other ball handlers. So you can honestly just probably do that. Like I think putting J Dub on Turner is an option, but I don't think it's something you necessarily need to do because I also do just trust Chet to switch. He did good on Halliburton multiple times, multiple possessions. He's done good against like these slower, methodical players. Like I thought he did fine against Luca on switches. I thought he did fine against Tatum, like a slow, like not a slower guy, but like less explosive ball handler on the perimeter. He did it against Halliburton. Like I would just trust like anyone to really switch outside of Hardenstein, as long as you aren't switching Hardenstein onto like Halliburton or anyone. I think any other switch is like perfectly fine. You just live with it, you know. I don't want to complain about this because I think the rest were atrocious last game. Case was being grabbed double. Yeah, yeah. The rest is playoffs. I'm honestly just tired of like talking about the rest. It's just been such an awful battle to talk about. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like the refs lost game. I think they gave most of the players pretty decent amount of calls. Like for us, Shea's just not getting the off ball fouls or anything. Like they're just being able to hack Shea. Like completely lock him up. Like I think people think Dort and Cruz are handsy. Neymar and Neesmith for an exact same level. Shea needs to play a minimum of 40 minutes. I think he is just prone to being tired, man. He played 41 minutes last game, and he looked really tired, man. I think that's the main thing. He just isn't his play style is not built for playing a lot of minutes. That's the honest truth. Thunder doing such a disservice to Dort by losing both games. He hit 4 3 pointers. Probably his two best games all playoffs. Q-tip, and yeah, probably Dort's two best games this entire playoffs, and still found a way to lose it. Um. Okay, so if no J Dub, If no J Dub, who would you put in the double big lineup? Um, yeah. So if you're doing a no J Dub lineup, like it would be like um, Shea, Caruso, and then I guess you put one of the offensive players, right? Like one of Wiggins and Joe, and then you run double big. That's probably like my ideal non J Dub double big lineup. Like I think that's like a good lineup to like maybe end quarters, maybe end halves. While J Dub plays like the early part of the quarters. If the Thunder played well in the second quarter, fourth quarter, they would have won. Yeah, they've been good. They've been good in the first and third quarters all series. Like they've been good at responding. Like after like I mean obviously first quarter you're coming off like multiple days of preparation. Halftime you're coming off the entire adjustment or whatever game plan you have. They've just been bad at in-game adjusting after that. They're good. They've been good at halftime adjustments. They've been good leading up to the game for the most part. But Indiana just figures you out so well. They're such a smart offensive team. Rick is such a good offensive and in-game coach. They'll eventually find a counter before like the end of the half. So that's why it's gonna be a big battle. That's why you're gonna have to take advantage of that first quarter a little more. He was tired because of full court pressure. That's why you need to play Hartenstein to screen the full court pressure off of him, relieve some pressure off of him. That's why you probably need to play Wiggins more to handle the ball at times. Like again, there's small things you need to change just to help Shea's like life become a lot easier. Man, that Ben Maffern game was insane. 27 point like so that's probably like one of the most annoying things. Like all respect to Maffern, he's not a smart offensive player right now. He's not an efficient offensive player now. Right now, the fact that you're able to let him get this type of game off is absurd. Like 27 points in an NBA Finals game. No, I'm sorry. You can't play Joe anymore in the series. He's getting cooked on defense. I remember being this. I never thought it was weird, but he was pretty good in the regular season. Like I'm pretty confident in saying that. Like I don't think we have to be a revisionist about it. Um, but it was also being denied off the pass. What can we do in terms of that? Um, Make a playoff movement more. Like the issue is when you bring the ball up, like Shea just becomes stagnant. Like I think just have Shea come off screens, have Shea come off like uh pin down stuff like that. Like literally like use Shea as like a movement player. Just let him play off movement, catch the ball and like let him make a decision from there. Like let him make a decision from the wing. Just don't slow down the offense. Don't try to flatten out the floor. You can't flatten out the floor and try to isolate anymore. Indiana's completely figured that out. So now you're just gonna have to play a lot earlier. And it's the same thing that happened against Minnesota and Denver. They eventually figured out Shea and slowed him down in game three. So what was the counter? Just play faster, play off movement more, and just beat the defense. Just beat the help. Yeah, the top end has a crazy vertical leap. If I'm Mark, I'm honestly starting Wiggins over Kaysen. I don't think that's crazy to say. I don't think that's crazy to say because like at least Wiggins gives you like a clear direction. Like okay, we're gonna try to win this game offensively. We still have a pretty good defensive lineup out there. I think Kaysen's just redundant at this point. Like you just have him chasing Nemhard all game. Nemhard's not even shooting much shots anyways, and he's not doing much offensively. Like he's just not doing enough to justify this role right now. All right, how exactly do you slow down Indiana? Because we also capitalize on points after turnovers. We were both bad. Wait. How exactly do you slow down Indiana? Because we also capitalize on points after turnovers. We were both bad in the half court. We were both bad in the half court. Um, easy money side, but the counters are just pressure the ball more, right? Like I think Oklahoma State's ball pressure in Game 3 was awful. Like I don't I think they went away from it after Game 1 because Indiana did such a good job in the second half. But I think you go back to ball pressure. I think again Halliburton also is one crazy lost game in terms of like being able to create offense for himself or others, just being able to like get downhill at all. So I think if you're Oklahoma City, just find a way to pressure the ball more. Find a way to slow Halliburton down. Like they focus more on the half court defensive part and just try to like force them into inefficient possessions, but that didn't really work. What you really need to do is just prevent Halliburton from ever really like getting any sort of advantage in the first place. He's just not gonna make mistakes with the ball at all. He's never gonna um he's barely gonna make that wrong read. He's barely gonna miss an open shot. So you just need to prevent him from getting that ball early on in the first place. That's how you slow down Indiana um off turnovers. You just pressure the ball immediately. Don't just try to set back your half court defense. Why do you think Wiggins is so bad defense? Is so bad on defense? Um, Not the best athletes, not the best athlete defensively. Meaning like um, he's not really that strong. He's not really that strong. He doesn't really have like a long wingspan, and I think he's a bit slow on his feet, right? I don't know if he has heavy feet or whatever it is. Like he also just doesn't have good defensive footwork, defensive positioning. It's just very easy to get a blow by against him because like of how poor his footwork on defense is, and that's some stuff for players that usually gets changed over time. That's also why he went in the second round. He was just always a pretty bad defender. Alex said, "When are you gonna upload my live reaction to Game Three?" Yo, Alex, are you a Pacers fan? Alex, are you a Pacers fan? I don't like splitting between Wiggins and Joe. I'd rather just get all the minutes. Um, I don't like splitting. I'd rather one just get all the minutes. Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get what you're saying, but I think I think Marcus is trying to throw stuff at the wall and see like what sticks. You know, with Joe and Wiggins in that sense. It makes some sense, but I agree with what you're saying. Like I just hate spreading out minutes and not giving one person a chance. But I think Mark at this point he's just trying to find some spark. It kind of sucks because Joe was the one who finally gave you a spark offensively. He's the one who he's the one who finally gave you like 3 point shots. So yeah, the fact he had what 2 fouls in 4 minutes, and he was like getting blown by a few times. Like the reason I'm wait. The reason I'm asking is because last game I've never seen us that too tired. These are young players seem mentally tired, and it's showing in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Um, yeah, I agree. They haven't looked that fatigued, that slow in a while. I just think it takes a lot of focus to play Indiana, right? I think that's just the main thing. Like it takes a lot of focus to play against Indiana. Like I know like Shea for one, like I don't think he's been as bad defensively as people have said. I think he's also been he was really good the first 2 games. The game three was bad defensively. But I feel like the main reason is because like he's not used to having to focus like the full 48 minutes. He can take a lot of possessions off, even against Timberwolves, right? It's not just a regular season. Like against Minnesota, there's a lot of possessions he can take off when he's against Mike Conley or like a player like that, right? But when there's so much movement involved in offense, there's so much screen, so much off ball action. It's a lot. It takes a lot of mental focus. I think that's the main reason why they look so defeated, like why they look so tired at the end of the game. Alex, I'm not a Pacers fan, but still hilarious. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna post the game free reactions. I mean, I always try to post the reactions, but like after game three, I was just kind of tired. I didn't want to like I have to still edit the reaction, right? It takes like a good hour or so just to like clip everything together. I wasn't in the mood, you know. Game one was fine, but like when you're down 2-1, it's a little different. Do I have to have a league pass for playback? For the regular season, yes. For the playoffs, I can give you access. I can give you access. I have limited amounts, but if you come in early in the stream, I can give you access, man. And you can watch the games live with us. Rudy the Boxer. Oklahoma's Robin hasn't showed up yet. Robin being J Dub. I'm guessing in this sense, not Chet. It's kind of. Oh, I guess you're saying J Dub or Chet, probably, right? Yeah, yeah. No, none of them have really. They both had stretches. I think J Dub had that stretch in the second half. Chet had that stretch in the first half. Chet's game was really annoying because Chet was really good to start that game on both ends. Like it felt like it was gonna be like a big dominant game from him after a pretty good game too. But yeah, game three, he was pretty good until that fourth quarter. Really, it's just like I don't know. I don't know if I'm like looking too much into it, but I almost feel like Chet sometimes has an ego, and it's very rare. 'Cause, like he's a very like collected dude for the most part, especially since he's joined OKC. He's done a much better job of like not taking over possessions and stuff like that. But he definitely has some ego. Like the play where Turner blocks him and he still tries to attack the rim, like that happens a few times where like a player will do something on him and he'll try to attack him the next time, and it's just bad offense every single time. Like him trying to attack Turner this much at the rim is just pure. It's just stupid at this point. Like there's nothing showing that you can attack him or score against him. I just want to see him go double big and give Hart a chance to show what he's made of. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Just try it, man. Like it's kind of hard now because it's game four and you don't want to like make a major shift. But like you've at this point in the series, you could have to at least try to see like how you could have to like change the matchups a bit, right? We're talking about putting like J-Dub on Turner or maybe putting Hardenstein, Siakam, stuff like that. Just change up the matchups a bit because right now Indiana just scored 116 points without shooting well from free. Like no matter what, it can't get much worse than that. Like they could have a good shooting game next game, but like no matter what, I don't think you're gonna do worse than like a team scoring 116 points just purely off 2 point shots. Also, by the way, I'm gonna uh, add like like a channel membership soon. I'm gonna like add more content on there, like more content that gets copyrighted and stuff, more streams and stuff. So, like if you want to support the channel, I'll probably have like a channel membership set up by tomorrow. I finally got approved yesterday, so if you guys want to support the channel, I'll obviously uh, set that up. OKC signed it because of the hustle and defense, and you can only. Scott, I think the main reason why Mark is doubting so much is because Hardenstein struggled against the same team last year, right? He played against Indiana with New York, and I think that's a major reason why he's so reluctant to play him heavy minutes because like he's so scared of the same thing happening again. Well, Hardenstein just gets put into action. Hardenstein gets switched, but like I agree, it's a completely different defensive team. The Thunder don't have as many players who can hunt compared to New York last year. Um, the Thunder just have a much faster team around Hardenstein. So just try it more, man. Just try it more. Mark needs to show the motion managed laid back stuff. Yeah, like the Mark laid back stuff is kind of crazy. It's like every single like interview about it, like you kind of don't get a reaction, but I feel it'll show eventually. I think the Cleveland series scared him away from double big. Yeah, that's another thing. Like it just overall, like teams against Indiana that have gone big have just complete been horrible, right? So I understand why he's reluctant. It's like not like an obvious thing to do, but I think New York has some success going double big. You can try to replicate that. I mean, the main reason why double big didn't completely work was because Mitchell Robinson couldn't shoot free throws, and like the offense just completely died when double big was on the floor. I don't think the same will happen for the Thunder. So like, if you believe Hardenstein can get offensive rebounds, if you believe, um, check and I mean Hardenstein can guard Siakam, check and bring the rim protection. Like, why not? They not playing bench players who are killing us. Yeah, I understand Joe's was bad defensively, but like when you have such little offense in the game, taking away to one guy who had any sort of spark is probably going too far. I understand though. I understand it from Mark's perspective. I just think he needs like if he has a perspective of like we're gonna win this game defensively, we're gonna have to play our best lineups. It makes sense then, but maybe that's not the right mindset. Maybe that's the big issue. Jehu. What haven't we learned from the Denver series? I think they learned a good amount. I just think they're playing against a much better coach now. I think that's the main thing. That's the main difference right now. They're playing against a much better coach. Like Rickon might be the best coach in the NBA right now. He might be an all-time level coach. He's coached so many deep playoff runs. I think that's the main thing right now. Rick is just prepared for these type of moments. Dagnall's coaching the series has been sketchy, 100%, 100%. And I'm not a guy who just blames everything on the coach. I think that's all. That sometimes like we deflect blame from the players or like the GM or stuff like that. But it's like Dagnall this series just been. It just doesn't feel like he knows what he wants to do. It feels like he just keeps on changing. He doesn't. He hasn't had a consistent philosophy that really looks like it's gonna work. Um, my man, like all it takes is one game now. All it takes is one game, and then you just reset the series. It's a best of three series, so you just gotta hope that whatever they have in their back pocket for Game 4 is gonna pay dividends. Pacers have a lot of depth. Nuggets don't as well. That's another thing. The Nuggets ran out of gas. I don't think Indiana will run out of gas for a while. They also have like a lot of guys who can just win games single handedly. Like Mafford's like the sixth or seventh guy, right? He single-handedly swung the game their way. This game, then McConnell, who single-handedly stole the game. Never didn't really have any guy like that. Like the biggest thing that happened all series from the bench was like Julian Straffer in that 1 minute. But outside of that, like no one on the bench had an impact all series. Mel, I don't. I did not want Mark to play double big going into this series much. So, and I will 100% admit that I'm not gonna walk back and act like it was an obvious thing. Same time, changing the starting lineup game one, and not even giving it a chance, was way too far. You have to at least try something out in the first few games in the series, at least especially game one, and then make the adjustment. You can't just concede your starting lineup in game one. You can't just concede whatever advantage you have. You know, you can't just play into Indiana. Make them play to you. Make Indiana go small to try to play against us. Force them to make decisions. Don't like make the decision yourself. You know, force Indiana to find a way to solve double big before you solve it for themselves. You know, like give it a chance. That you should always give lineups a chance that have worked in the past. Indy had off shooting night for shooting freeze. That's the scary part, man. That's really the number one scary part. They did not play an A plus game. They played an A plus coaching game. They did not play an A plus game in terms of shot making and stuff. They were just getting good looks from two inside. They got a lot of rim shots. And they were efficient with the ball. That's all it was. One day rest, by the way, between the game after the Pacers just played, and they might shoot 70% from free. Joe was neutral and plus minus. Yeah, I won't be able to watch the game tomorrow, which sucks. But I'll watch it immediately when I go home. I'll try to refresh the box score like a few times. I'm not gonna do it obsessively because I'd rather just be surprised. But like hopefully, hopefully when I refresh it, it's a good result. But yeah, I mean that's his biggest game for Shea really. Like more than just entire roster, biggest game for Shea. Um, to finish off this all time season. The Crusoe minutes were bad, man. I'm not even just looking at plus minus, but his minutes were bad today. This was probably like Crusoe's worst defensive game all playoffs. Like I didn't feel like he had any impact whatsoever compared to what he usually does. Like him and Casey both really him and Casey both like they haven't had the same defensive impact this series as a whole. Like I think the guys that have remained their impact is really Dort and J Dub. Really everyone else is kind of fallen off a little bit defensively. All right, I'm probably gonna call it a stream pretty soon. So if you guys have any final questions, let me know. I was planning on to be on here for an hour. It's been an hour and 3 minutes, so right around that time. So any final questions, uh anything to shout real quick, let me know. But otherwise, I'll probably be out pretty soon. What I observed in the series is that Marcus is doing counters on what Rick has been doing when it should be the other way around. Scott, that's been the thing that's been happening all playoffs, right? That Mark is the one that is being attacked in a way, right? And he's just like he's playing to what the other coaches want. Like same against the Denver Nuggets, right? He played his lineup strictly to stop Jokic, while Denver was playing their lineup strictly to win. It's a very different thing. You know, like if the Pacers' entire point of the entire series, I mean, if the Nuggets' entire point of the series was to stop Shea to that extreme of a point, they're playing Payne and Watson that many, like 40 minutes, you know? But they didn't do that. The Thunder are playing such defensive lineups just to prevent the other team. They don't realize they're killing themselves in the process, you know? Like they're almost beating themselves by trying to match up against the other team. They're so focused on matching up well rather than putting their best lineups on the floor. Like, do you think Indiana's that worried about what lineups Oklahoma City has? They'd be fine going small. They'd be fine with playing backup big, um, Turner, whatever. In most lineups, they're the one that are aggressing no matter what. It feels like last year on the rest was how was that not flagrant? Yeah, that one didn't make any sense. I didn't get that. Like you could just drag a player from behind now. Like it didn't end up being dangerous, but like it could have been dangerous. That's the entire point for flagrant. You know, he doesn't have to be like visibly hurt, visibly like affected by it to be a flagrant. We're gonna win game 4 anyways. Thunder up, everyone, for sure, man. I appreciate all y'all coming out. Again, if you still have some questions you're typing out, I'll answer them in chat. Once I end the stream. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all. Um, I'll still make a video after game 4, maybe like the next day. Probably it'll probably be like a bit after, but like again, I'll see y'all, man. Appreciate all y'all coming out.